That's right. You heard her, everybody. This call is being recorded, and welcome to the call, everybody. Welcome, everybody in Facebook land. Welcome, everybody in TikTok land. I want to introduce my co-host tonight, Natasha Jordan. She's the one that makes it all happen. Natasha, how are you tonight? Welcome.
I'm good. I'm very good. Grateful to be here. What is today? March the 31st,
March
2025?
the 31st,
Already.
3/31, 2025.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
This,
Pretty good.
this was the
Well,
day that Buck Rogers got a divorce. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
yeah, well, good. Well, as you know, we're here taking questions for anything that anybody wants to know about from 1099As. But tonight we're specifically going to be on travel and drive, correct?
No.
Oh,
We're going to be talking about debt and foreclosure, the debt and
yeah,
foreclosure class
foreclosure.
coming up.
Okay.
But what I'm going to be talking about is the elements of tonight. We're going to be focusing on the elements of protecting yourselves from a lawsuit. Okay. And this
Oh,
isn't legal advice. Okay. So she's
okay.
about to give you all a disclaimer. So put your pencils down. Don't get excited out there. Anyway, give us that disclaimer and tell them what's up.
Yeah,
Is this
absolutely. So we are not here for legal advice. We're not lawyers by all means.
that's
We're
right.
just here
Thank
giving
God.
you the processes of what we've done. Absolutely no drinking, smoking, alcohol, any illicit drugs that we talk about here as well. We're not here to hurt anybody's feelings. We're here to be everybody's friend and to help them through processes of waking up. So if you feel free that you want to ask any questions, put them in the comments and we'll try to our best ability to answer that for y'all. And let's have fun. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And you know what? And if any of you guys feel like that there's any misinformation coming from me, here's how you fix that problem. Flip. Just, just flip it. Okay. And just flip it and move on. And you know what? Maybe our roads will connect on another platform or on something else somewhere else, or maybe on another topic. And maybe we can find some common ground there. You know, that's really my hope. That's my hope with all of this tonight. So, and also I want to also let everybody know that we don't give legal advice. Okay. What we do is we have a lot of resources. I have a ton of resources, Natasha. We have attorneys. We have people in high places, in lots of places, that serve as advisories to us, and they help us out here at the House of Yah Community Outreach. And if any of my adversaries want to find out, push the button. Simple, you know. And I'm going to tell you, we do real results. This isn't a threat. That wasn't a threat by any means. We do real results and real solutions. I'm not kidding when I put this stuff up there, Natasha. I'm not playing. You know, we teach a debt, equity, and foreclosure class, and this is one's coming up on the 8th and the 9th. Okay. Tonight, I'm going to be going over some of that. I'm going to be going over a portion, very smidget portion of what we talk about in the 6-hour class. It's a ton of information. As a matter of fact, it's getting to the point where if I let these classes get any bigger than what they are, we would be probably in a 5-6 hour class because there would be so many questions. There would be a lot. So I try to keep these classes very small and very private, very personable. That way you guys can get the full benefit. You don't get lost in the crowd or lost in the questions or any of that kind of stuff. We don't want that. We feel like if you're going to make an investment in us, we want to make that investment in you. Sean is Mr. Gray, Sean Gray. He's one of my students. He's been one of my students for quite some time. And he's taken this debt, equity, and foreclosure class. And he called me, I don't know, about a month or two ago. And one of the things that we also offer at the House of Yah is that we can do preparation for you. So we can't give you legal advice. Absolutely can't do that. But we can do preparation. So we have some resources that we send this stuff out to, and they do their magic. And it's not really magic at all, actually. It's just these people know what the heck they're doing. And I protect their identities. I don't tell anybody who these people are because they just do this for us privately to help us out. And they're not trying to get any exposure or anything like that. They just want to be able to help. So occasionally we do have folks that need some help. And anyway, Sean is just really busy. He's a lot going on, but he's telling me the components of his case and what was going on. And I can't go with all the detail. I can't tell you all the details of his case, because that's not right. But I will tell you the basics of it. And here's the basics of it. It was a $1 million lawsuit filed by an attorney in Dallas, okay, against him. Here, that's what I can tell you. And we sat down together. And I'm going to tell you, I'm really proud of Sean, Natasha, because he actually broke the thing down and said, look, and he was really kind of directing me like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on how, look, Tim, I see this problem, and Tim, I see this problem, and Tim, I see this problem, and Tim, I see this problem. What are your thoughts on that? And I said, I agree. I consider these problems being the same too. And basically those problems being that this person, this was a car accident. This is a private individual trying to sue him just because he's a homeowner, really. And this happens. So she decides that she's going to sue him for $1 million. Well, we answered their claim. And I believe we filed a plea and abatement. I believe that's what was drafted for him, a plea and abatement. And because there were so many defects in the case, and we're going to go over some of those defects. Okay, we're going to talk about third-party debt collectors tonight mainly. That's really what we're going to talk about. But basically, in a nutshell, is that we responded to them properly by affidavit. Okay, affidavit in support, of course, and we responded to him promptly. Within 3 days, we sent a response back to the court. The court actually set it for summary judgment, set his case, and this is all public information, so this isn't private or anything like that. So they set his case for summary judgment. Now, those of you guys that don't know what summary judgment means, that means that basically there's no reason to have a trial. This is a no-brainer. This is over here, and this is over here. That's what a summary judgment is. And if the judge set it for summary judgment. Usually those are motions that are filed by the parties. And so the judge set it for summary judgment, and that means for July 15th. And that means that there's a certain amount of proof. There's a certain amount of something that we raised in our answer. And I'm not going to tell you what it is because he's not here. But there was something that we raised in our answer. And those of you guys that take my class, you're going to learn what this is. And you're going to learn how to identify these bottom feeders fast. And I'm going to tell you, these attorneys aren't so scary when you realize they're just digging into somebody's trash, really looking for trash, because that's what they are, really. And these are the guys, these are the attorneys that have that visual, they look like used car salesmen with law degrees. Yeah. That's those guys, the ones that can't dress, with their collars are like all over the place from 40 years ago or something. They look like haven't changed clothes since the days of Rockford Files or something. Anyway, that's what I'm talking about. So basically, this is what happened. This was $1 million claim. And here's the thing. If you know what you're doing and you're moving in equity and you make the proper presentments, the burden falls all on their side. And I'm going to tell you, Natasha, this isn't the first time we've done this. Christine was on the call not that long ago. She had a $7,000 lawsuit. We did exactly the same thing. And she was on the call and we talked about it. Did exactly the same thing. And the judge jumped the gun. So proud of him. And the other party, knowing that the judge jumped the gun and knowing that there was that the whole house of cards just fell down. Why? Truth. Absolute truth will do this every single time. When you understand what equity is, which is what we're going to be teaching in this class, and you understand how to move in equity, you can go in and take that one punch and it's over. The Bible says that the righteous, though they may fall 7 times, they will keep getting back up again. But the other guys, once you hit them in the mouth, they go down. And ladies and gentlemen, they stay down. I don't care how many degrees they have. I've seen this happen. I've been watching this happen over the last 9 years with my students. And on the 8th and the 9th, we're going to have another opportunity for this class. We're going to show you how to deal with that stuff. Not only that, but we're going to show you how to do all kinds of stuff. Oh, speaking of the devil. Look who just showed up.
Sorry,
Dang.
Tim, I was busy.
He's got great timing, man. I love you, dude. You don't.
Thank you.
I mean, I love it, man. You don't even. We don't even need a curtain with you. You just show up. Boom. We just love it, man. Welcome to the call, Sean. How are you, man?
Good.
All right, you're gonna have to speak up now because we got a lot.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
There we go. All right, now scream and yell at us a little bit. It's okay. We won't. Our feelings won't be hurt. But it's good to hear from you. So we were just talking about. We were covering the kind of the basics of what had kind of happened in your lawsuit. So this saved a lot of warm up power. So when the answer that was filed was that what was that? Was it a plea and abatement, motion to dismiss?
Motion dismiss.
Under Rule 91 or something, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that I think the heart of the complaint was that basically this lady says that he rear-ended her, but she's actually the one that jumped the traffic and caused the accident and caused the whole thing.
She ran a red light.
That's what it was. She ran the red light. But then she did what any good narcissist would do, and she blamed him for it. She said it was his fault, didn't she? And then the insurance company. What did her insurance company say to you, Sean? I know you filed a claim with them.
Her insurance said that my witnesses weren't credible enough, and that basically it was kind of I said and she said thing, and they were going to take her word, that she didn't run a red light, and that they were going to pay. They were going to pay for her vehicle and whatever else she comes up with, but they were going to deny my claim. But
wow,
she tried to put a claim on my insurance, and they denied her. They said there was not enough evidence, to state that it was his fault. So they denied her claim.
There you go. Well, that saved you. And they should have. And and this was the thing. Basically, if I remember properly, that we kind of told them that, hey, judge, they're not telling you the whole story. They're not telling you that they had insurance and that insurance companies have written checks and things like that already. So these people got made whole by their insurance companies and then filed an additional claim. That's double jeopardy. That's a double dip. And no bueno. Now, most people would have got pretty scared. I mean, I saw it, Sean. I mean, they had their little attorney and he wrote it up, and he was an Esquire too, right?
Yeah.
Except I couldn't pronounce his last name.
Gustavo.
When they got a name like that, or no, it was Gustavo, right? Or, no, was it? What was his first name? It had some rolling, right? It was really long, wasn't it?
Yeah, it started with an M.
And then there it was. Yeah. Anyway, he had one of those names like that, that sounded like they were connected to something, like a crime family or something. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. Damn cartels. Anyway, no, he had one of those. And, and that was kind of an issue. But, getting past all that, I found that whole situation to be ambiguously fraudulent. All of it. Talk about somebody that just got ahead of themselves. And this is a situation, and this happens a lot, Sean. This is where you get some uppity person that decides they just want to go make a victim out of somebody just because they have the money to send Gustavo after him or whoever, it probably has that name so he can intimidate the judge. That's what it is. I will call my friends overseas, but he'll come and get you. Yes, that's what happens. No, I'm kidding. No, he doesn't do that. I'm just kidding. I was speculating. Objection. But anyway, so it was set. You said it's set for summary judgment for what? July the 15th now?
July, late in July, 20th something, set for dismissal.
And nobody even has to show up. That's the beautiful thing. I mean,
in the ruling, she gives them all that time up until July to come up with something, If they want to provide more evidence or refile, and it's listed in there, it's like a bunch of crap, man.
What needs to make sense? And the problem is that when you move in equity and you make the proper presentments, everybody that reads it is responsible. And because you have a judge down there that has some sort of conviction, which that's rare, I mean, well, it's probably because you're a homeowner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, there you go. He's a homeowner. Never mind. He's a voter, a homeowner. He's all that. Hold on a second. Right, there we go.
Tim, I was kind of curious. I had put everything in trust, and I mean, even if she was trying to get $1 million, I mean, nothing's in my name. That even the car that I hit her with wasn't even in my name. So,
and what do we know about trusts?
they can't be sued, and they can't sue.
So, for all those people that have these power of attorney set up for their trust, just don't. It's time to disconnect from those people. That's what that should tell you. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh at y'all. It was funny though. Anyway, so we I mean, and this was $1 million, right, Sean?
Yeah.
$1 million with the bald cat. Yeah. No, not okay, man. So, and I mean, now most people would flip out if they got into a lawsuit like this and oh my God, and they would be losing it, right? You were super chill about, I mean, you were like, yeah, I got this thing, call me about it. And I'm like, okay. And it was like nothing. And then I looked at it and I think I called you back and I laughed at you. I think we just had a little laugh on the phone together. I think it's what $1 million. Stop it. $1 million. Stop it. It was ridiculous. Anyway, and Natasha, what are your thoughts on all this? Did you have any questions? I'm sure you have questions for Sean. Fire away.
Well, no. My thing is once it actually gets dismissed, can Sean actually go back and go after her for harassment or anguish or anything like that, putting him through that?
He gets to go. No, better than that. He gets to go after her for malicious prosecution. We were getting to that.
Oh, okay.
You always get to the good stuff before I do. You always steal my thunder, but it's okay. You can have my thunder. I don't care. That's all right. I like it when you spark it anyway. But no, it's true. He has a really good case against her, and she really is showing her hand, Sean, because here's the thing. You have recourse against her and her lawyer. Her lawyer, he has a responsibility to go in and check all this stuff out before he goes and files anything. Okay. They got rules about that. Did you guys know that? I know these lawyers don't act like it, but they really do. And here's the thing. If they're found that they filed something frivolous against you, who comes to mind? The Hicks law firm. That's who comes to mind. Those guys got sanctioned for it. If you guys look up the Hicks law firm, like Hickeys, look at, they just suck on or something. I don't know. But if you look up the Hicks law firm and you Google those guys, you'll see that they've been smacked around all over the place and publicly sanctioned for doing this very same thing of what you're talking about. So, and they're about to get it again, but don't ask me how I know this. Anyway, that was free, by the way. For entertainment purposes only. Anyway, so what I'm saying is it really is going to be entertaining. Anyway, but what I'm saying is Sean, is that you have a really golden opportunity to go after them. Natasha brought up a good point. She works part-time as a law clerk sometimes. No, I'm kidding. No, she doesn't. But she should, because that's, see, this is what happens when you take my class. You start looking at everybody like a paycheck. Hey, there goes $100,000. It just went that way. Go. Yeah, don't laugh. You know it's true. Mm-hmm. I've created a monster over here. She's like chasing down contracts from 79, trying to get them monetized over here now. Gabriel, what is that?
It's the letter of dismissal, when it is, and yeah. Gustavo L. Mussolini.
There you go. There you go. You know what? We should send him a pack of Depends. One of those trial packs. I love sending the attorneys that sort of thing. It's kind of fun. It's a nice gift, just in case. Saves the furniture.
So July 28th is at 9 a.m. is the dismissal case, but do I have to wait till then to file against her or her lawyer?
Yes, because we need to take, as soon as the dismissal is filed, then that's your exhibit A. And then there's a malicious prosecution there because and both sides are liable because they should have checked out the parameters of everything, and they should have verified that what she was saying was actually true before they filed it. So when you don't do that, then that makes the attorney and the plaintiff in cahoots. And if you wanted to go on a federal level, that could be a conspiracy against deprivation of rights. In some cases, not in your case, but in some cases, like parental rights. You just never know. Just these things just spin around. You just never know. But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to steal too much thunder tonight. But anyway, congratulations on that. I'm glad that worked out, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens when the karma comes back around. When it comes back around, it's going to be very exciting. And more than likely, you probably won't have a hearing. Here's what happens when you trap these little guys and you trap these little bottom feeders like that. They just write a check real fast and get out of the corner. They just get out of the way real fast. So more than likely, that's probably what will happen because this is a no-brainer. And that's just that's my opinion. I mean, who knows? Who knows what could really happen? I mean, we nobody really knows. Only Yah does. But I'm glad everybody made it on the call tonight. Glad everybody's here. Tammy, welcome to the call. James, welcome to the call. Bob, hey man, glad to have you on the call too, man. First time seeing you on the call. Welcome. Glad that you're here. Travis, welcome to the call. Bryant, welcome to the call. And everybody else, welcome to the call. Please like and share. We're about to get into some good stuff now. All right, so I'm going to take you back to class, Sean. Do you remember when we had this? This is one of the mini templates that you're going to get in the debt, equity, and foreclosure class. And this is a very small section of the class, but I'm going to share some of this with you guys tonight because this is really important. Some of you guys that may be involved in a lawsuit. Now, again, I'm not giving legal advice because I'm simply reading from something that was drafted by a legal professional. That's right. See, it's much easier when you do it this way. Anyway, so one of the things that you need to understand is that first and foremost, and it is that all courts are courts of equity. Sean, they made a decision on your case so fast because we made the proper presentment, okay? And we were speaking their language and spoke the language so clear and exposed them so blatantly that, of course, this is where we're at today. And, and something else that you learn too is that, why couldn't they just dismiss the thing and do whatever? Because they all work together because they're all friends. I mean, look, they're not hangout friends, they're the kind of friends that see each other every day. Okay. Those of you guys that work in a business where you have like the UPS guy, it's probably the same UPS guy every day. Okay. And if it is, then you're going to know Rick, the UPS guy. Okay. Or you're going to know Dan, the Frito-Lay guy, because he changes out the chip machine every 2 weeks or something like that. Okay. These are people that you see a lot. Okay. And I'm going to tell you, these guys are friends, but they're friends like that. They're friends because they see each other a lot. This is why they give them all this professional courtesy and they take your rights and go over here. They don't care. So we have to understand that when these guys make a presentment, it's serious stuff. If Sean had not have timely responded to that response, everything in that complaint would be true. And can I tell you, that's what they were hoping. If you want to know why they threw that 3rd grade special together and threw it at you, because I got to tell you, I read it. Man, I've seen better work come from the Sovereign Citizen Gang than this. It was terrible. It was bad. I mean, just drama. No facts, Natasha. No facts at all. But anyway, so one of the things that we have to understand is that if you're involved in a lawsuit, is that the first thing that's going to happen is they're going to make a presentment. They're going to send a witness to see you and make sure that you got that presentment, okay? Which means they're going to send a peace officer to disturb your peace. Look at the irony in that. I mean, it's just dumb. But whatever, that's what they do. They sent the peace officer to disturb your peace. Crazy. Stupid job. I got to tell you, what a dumb job. Anyway, I think you have to have a 70 IQ to have that job. The second thing that happens, and see, understand that witness is very important. Okay. Hey, this is for you guys. This is for everybody tonight. Okay. This is a little small area of this class that we're going to talk about tonight. It's a 2-day, 3-hour class. So 6 hours both days. A lot of information. This is something that I teach usually on the second day. And then we get into some real court stuff, and I show you how my paperwork actually goes in the court stuff. But anyway, let's get back to this. So the first thing that's going to happen is they're going to make a presentment. Then that turkey is going to take some paperwork back, and he's going to swear that you got it. So now they have performance, okay? The little guy in the brown shirt went all the way to your house, knocked on your door, you answered the door, he gave you the thing, he saw you, and he went back. That's called performance. This is equity, okay? Not that stuff in your house. Don't think about that right now, okay? That's a deception, okay? People talk about equity like that because they want to fool you, okay? So just listen to what I'm saying right now. Stay on track with me. And you know what? Some of you are not going to get this, and that's okay. It's okay, okay? It's okay. It's just not your time, I guess. I don't know. But a lot of this stuff took a few years for me to understand, even trusts, things like that. So hey, we're all human here, just so everybody knows. Anyway, so the first thing that happens, like I said, is they're going to make that presentment. Now you got that thing sitting on your kitchen table looking at you. You're just staring at it. You just walk by it like you don't want to touch it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm talking about, right, Sean? You've been sitting on the table. Man, I hope what Tim said was true. God, get away. You don't want to touch it. Well, it's because it's a spell. And some dark people sent this to you to try to bind you. Now, how do we make money in this country, Natasha? How is it done? Come on now. TT&L. Tell these guys what the TT&L window is all about.
The tax, treasury, and lien window.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, where they go and they cash everything out.
That's done at the bank, though, right?
Yeah.
So how do they make money on us? What's the path? Is it tax, treasury, lien?
Or lien is backwards, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
What is it? Lien.
They lien you first.
Yeah.
Then they tax you, or then they treasury you, and then, okay, then it gets taxed out. This is how this is done. Thank you so much, Ron. Appreciate that. So this is how this works. So what happens when you get a presentment from a lawsuit? That's the lien. They're making a presentment to you to say, hey, Sean, you owe us $1 million. And in equity, it could be a bald-faced lie. But if it cures over 21 days, and they've given you notice that, hey, you have 21 days to respond to this. Remember, it says that. And if you don't respond in 21 days, what's that demanding? Performance. Okay? So some people like to throw this around and they say, oh, they need your consent. Do you see? They need your consent. No, they don't. They need your performance. So what do these dingholes do? Sorry. What do these people that don't know what they're talking about do? That was much better, right? Okay. Thank you, Natasha, for straightening me out on that. Anyway, these dingholes, they show up. Sorry about that. Anyway, what do? They show up and they say something like this. I'm here to make a special appearance on the record. And I don't consent to any jurisdictions today. I did a video on this today. And I'm this and I'm that, and I'm sailing the 7 seas. And then at the end of their little statement, then they say stuff like, and I reserve all of my rights under UCC 1-308. Well, hold on a second. I thought you weren't recognizing any jurisdictions today. This is the problem we have in this movement. Okay. People, listen to what I'm saying. Don't get pissed off. Listen to what I'm saying. Okay. Self-reflect. This is a problem in this movement. This is why they're calling people sovereign citizens, you guys. Oh, I know it's an oxymoron. Yes, we know. We know. Thank you for telling us. We know you just shouted it from your living room right now, some of y'all. Okay. But what a sovereign citizen really is somebody that can't decide which direction they're going. There's somebody that talks out of both sides of their mouths. Huh? They say stuff like, we want to be in the private. So what do? They get a big name tag that says we're private. So everybody can see it. Look, I'm private. No, you're special. Really special. Yeah. Like, let's go to this class, Johnny. Like, that's special. Okay. Like, let's just go back to the finger paint. Yeah. Let's keep it simple. And they start showing you those pictures with the paint. And does it look like a butterfly and stuff like that? Yeah. That's how special we're talking about here. Okay. It's got to stop. And we need to understand that this world doesn't meet anybody halfway. And it's not going to meet you halfway. It's not going to meet you on your definitions. It's your job to learn this stuff. Look at what happened when we stopped learning this stuff, Sean. Do you remember? I mean, look, you remember our parents used to do their own taxes, right? Remember? My parents are realtors, man. They worked hard. And they were on the kitchen table with envelopes all over the place. Like when I was a kid, I used to watch this and go hide their stuff and make them mad. It was really funny. Wasn't that just here? Yeah, it was, but I took it. Anyway, I used to do stuff like that to them when I was a kid. So I used to watch my parents do this stuff. And there was a time and date where almost everybody knew how to do their own taxes. And Sean, these days, this generation, they can't even sign their names. They just print their names. We're human typewriters. That's all we do. Whoa, and off we go. I'm serious. And it's because we're not understanding.
Say again? You used to be able to pick up all the forms in a post office. You can't do that no more.
No. We have new owners in the post office now. And those of you guys that take my mail, I have a firm mailing book class. Take the class. Those of you guys that want to know stuff about operating in common law, gosh. If you want to learn how to do this stuff, man, understand what it really is. And I'm going to tell y'all real quick, and this is a little sneak peek from the class too, by the way. Common law, uniform commercial code, and equity, they're the same thing. When you really look at them all, it's all the same thing. They're all predicated on performance. Okay? So it's about honor, dishonor, and performance or no performance. Okay? This is what it's really all about. So when these guys start moving in equity against you and they make a presentment and they're like, hey, Sean, you owe us $1 million. It's your job to fix it. It's your job to do this. Now, if we follow the advice of our attorneys, what you will hear commonly is or what you will see is that they will file motions. And they're kind of open-ended motions. In other words, these motions are subject to rebuttal. Okay? And then what happens is you end up in a tennis match. Those of you guys that have been divorced, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And instead of a little blue ball going back and forth singing, it's your wallet. It's true. Now, if we understand how equity actually works, we can stop that. And how do we stop it, Sean?
Stated clearly of what the motion was for, like
no
motion dismiss under.
Well, it was the presentment. It was the presentment and the acceptance of the parties. Yes, the motion, the contents of the motion were the important part. But even Sean's having a hard time with this because it's hard to get your head around this, man. It's not easy to understand. So I'm going to break it down for you guys. It's the acceptance of the other party. Okay. So, hey, I throw the ball at you, Sean. Then you throw the ball at me. Now, what did they do? Nothing. What were they supposed to do? If what they were saying was right, they should have thrown the ball back and said, here's our response. But because they didn't move, now their judge friend had to step in and help. And give them some time to get their act together. But you and I both know that they don't have one. You and I both know that these people are outclassed. And when you're operating in equity, you can call these people out like this and you will stop that ball. You won't see your wallet going back and forth in the courtrooms anymore, ladies and gentlemen. It'll stop. And those of you guys that have ever watched any of my court clips, I've said it before. This is going to stop. This is going to stop right now. And when I'm saying that, I'm telling them, you're not going to do this to me. And I'm going to show you how. Guys, this is how I did it. This is how I did it. Let's keep going. Now, tonight, I want to talk more about third-party debt collectors, Sean. So we're going to talk more about them because that's what this is really centered around. Now, we have a lot of folks, and, Christine Caton was just on the call, a month or so ago. And, she won a $7,000 lawsuit that was filed against her the same way. And did we ever have to show up to court? Not really, because they didn't. They were outclassed. So one or two things happens when you outclass a law firm. If they're a big enough law firm, they're going to send some young dude in there, and they're going to send the whipping boy in there. And they're going to let some young intern get his little tail whipped in that court. And they're probably going to make him pay the dues for it too. And then tell him, this is part of your initiation and getting in the club. This is why attorneys get so mad when you beat them, because they had to get on their knees and go in there and go pick up slushies with their whatever and do all kinds of stupid stuff for these people and take all these hits for these people and some promise that they're going to get something. And all of a sudden Sean shows up with this and poof, that's it. I bet he thought he was going to get paid. Oh, we're going to get him now. We're going to put a lien against his house and we're going to get him. He's a homeowner. We looked him up. They did. They totally look you guys up. This is why it's important. You need to operate in trust like we do. It's another part of the class, the other class that I teach. But by operating in trust, you control everything, but you own nothing. That means they can't take nothing from you. Welcome to the call, Eric. So glad you're here, man. Glad you're here, man. James, welcome to the call as well. Thank you, Tammy, for hanging in there with us tonight. Glad that you're still here. Now, one of the things that you're going to see in this little pamphlet, and you guys will all get a copy of this. Any of you guys that take this class, this is a small part of this class. The one thing that this is in the book, by the way, and I'm just going to read from it here. It says the defendant is without information or knowledge sufficient to form an opinion as to the truth or accuracy, truth, very important, or accuracy of the plaintiff's claim. And based on that, he denies generally and specifically the plaintiff's claim. So do you see how that makes sense when we start talking about making a presentment? Do you see how that answer says, I see that you're making a presentment. Now I'm answering you. Okay. This is how we have to learn to speak. Stop listening to these people complaining about the flag and the judge's robe and do they have an oath? Who cares? They're all there and you accepted the paperwork and you all showed up to play house. So guess what? You're making coffee, honey. Yeah. But you don't have to. That's what I'm trying to say. This is where you're watching these people, when you beat these guys, Sean, you don't beat them in open court. More than likely, nobody's going to show up on July the 15th. You're going to show up. You should show up, by the way, and get your order signed and walk out the door so we can do what we need to do. Okay. I mean, that's what I recommend that you do. As a matter of fact, let me know. I may even drive up there. That's my birthday month. We may even drive up there. May even just come with you. And we'll put it here on TikTok so you guys can watch and see how this thing goes down. But this is how they can take something that's completely a lie and turn it into something that can hurt you. Equity, very powerful. Equity is the most powerful, and it is absolutely the highest jurisdiction. Now it sounds like I'm talking about common law, doesn't it? Yeah, it's because they're the same thing, silly goose. Yeah, they're the same thing. Because when these guys move in equity, it freaking happened, didn't it? If you didn't show up, then it happened. And there's all kinds of people there that are going to witness it. They're going to write it down and show, and they're going to perform where you didn't and say, oh, yeah, they did. And then guess what? It happened. Look at how many people it takes to make a good movie. You ever notice that? You ever seen the credits when you watch like a good movie, like an Avengers movie or something? And the people, it's like a whole city of people. It really is. Do you know why so many people are there? You know why it takes so many millions of dollars to create these movies? Because they're trying to make them believable. And it takes a whole lot of people to do it. It doesn't take all these people to run your townships, you guys. But it takes that many people to keep a lie quiet, to keep a lie quiet. So you don't know what's going on. You hear what I'm saying? This is how equity works, you guys. Open your eyes. Look at what I'm telling you, man. This is real, okay? I'm not playing around tonight. Tonight, y'all going to get some info tonight. All right. So the next thing you're seeing here is that when you're dealing with a third-party debt collector, you're dealing with somebody that is simply trying to make a case in equity. That means that they made a presentment. That means they called you on the phone, maybe, or they maybe sent you some stuff in the mail. Because when these cuckoo birds show up to court, that's exactly what they're going to whip out. Look, Your Honor, here's the payment schedule from 1998 that Sean was paying his credit card in. And then sometime between 1998 and now he stopped paying. So because he stopped paying and he owes a balance, he's pay us. And people in America believe this. People believe this. People believe that this stuff can actually happen. And it can. And here's how it happens. Because people don't say nothing. People, listen to what I'm saying. Because people don't perform. Why? What stopped everything, Sean? Because they failed to perform, right? We played our piece and there was no more play to make. One of the things you're going to learn in my class is that we operate in absolute truth. And when you operate in absolute truth, you have our Elohim with you. Okay? And when you have Yahweh with you, nobody's got a chance. Nobody. And I can tell you this firsthand. Man, I've had 14, 15 people against me, just little old me by myself in court in Houston County, Texas. And Yahweh prevailed. Why? They had a lot of equity. They had a lot of people pointing fingers. It sounded pretty convincing, Natasha. But I already had truth and acceptance from the parties. So if you ask me, they were running behind. It's a nice way of saying you can kiss my, never mind. Anyway, so at that point, the plaintiff has failed to state a claim. Why? Because they don't have a contract with you. But most people don't know that. What do they tell you? Oh, we've purchased this debt. Well, thank you very much, man. That's what's up. I'd be like, can I give you a hug? What's your address, man? I'm coming to see you, man. I'm going to give you a hug and bring you some brownies and everything. You paid my whole hospital bill off for me. That's how you guys should be acting. Because what this presentment that they're making on you is complete witchcraft. It's simply to fool you and deceive you. And you know what? My Father in heaven, he don't work like that. So that means they came from the down place. So that means this is a battle of spiritual. This is good and evil. So don't walk into court and try to be as evil as they are. How many times do we do that? How many times do we walk into court and we say, oh, well, we're going to lie too. Yeah, we're going to get them. Two wrongs don't make a right. It's true. And then you end up destroying your own house. This happens in court all the time. Let's keep going. Here's a problem that you have. See, and here's something that you could say. It's in the book. And these are some of the notes that you'll see in here. And of course, there's explanations on all this stuff too, just like I'm giving you, but a lot better, a lot more detailed. Anyway, the plaintiff's claim demands monies for an alleged debt, which no proof of debt, which there's no proof of debt said debt, nor proof of ownership of said debt that has been verified and exhibited. What? You mean they didn't file that with the court? And they never do. But guess what? They get a free pass if you don't say nothing, Sean. If you don't say anything to these turkeys, then you know what? Anything goes. It's like that old Guns N' Roses song, my way, your way, anything goes. It's just like that. Why? Because they made a presentment, and what did you do? Nothing. So here's where you need to be on this, and this is what you're going to learn in this class. You're going to learn that you need to be contracting. When you're thinking about this stuff. Now, Natasha is kind of gone to her head a little bit. I have to tell her, I'm going to have to slow her down a little bit because she's just going back and trying to find everything to monetize now. now that she's learned how to do all this stuff, she's trying. And we're going to talk about this in this class. We're going to talk about monetizing your leases. We're going to talk about monetizing your car agreements and stuff like that. Like those of you guys that ended up stuck with all those cars because you tried to do that special endorsement thing. Hey man, come and take this class. I'm going to show you there's still some money on the table, but it requires your performance. Okay. And once you perform and you understand how all this works, now you start seeing the money do this instead of the money just out the window. You start seeing it make circles and coming back. You start seeing your money perform. Guys, gals, that's what equity is all about. Equity is all about performance. And Natasha, that's exactly what you're seeing. You're seeing your money perform. You're seeing your labor perform. This is how this stuff works. And let me tell you something about these freeways. They're wide open, baby. They don't care if you're white, black, short, tall, fat, gay, straight. They don't care what you are, man, because it's not about any of that stuff anymore. It's not about individualism anymore. It's about performance. And here's what it's all about, guys. Can you perform? A lot of us have been performing for a long time, but we're leaving money on the table. A lot of times what you'll see in a lawsuit, matter of fact, I just had one that came in just the other day. And when I got it back from the group and I sent it off to the client, of course, I got to read it. It was pretty cool. And one of the things that they really screwed up on, see, the FDCPA, and this is stuff we're going to go over this. The FDCPA is very specific on asking or about awarding monies that are not part of your contract. So this case that I saw this past week was actually a car repossession case. The bank was taking her to court and suing the car owner for non-payment. Interesting, right? Well, we could actually show that they didn't have title to the car and that they have no tangible reason to receive a payment. Those of you guys that take my class, I'll show you the components and I'll show you why they didn't. I can't tell you guys that over the open air like this. We can't talk like that. We have to do these things privately. But I can tell you there's some mistakes. There's some mistakes that are often made out there. And this attorney asked for $5,000 over and over for attorney fees because the bank had to sue them for the car back. When you get done with my class, you're going to learn it was never about the car to begin with. It was about the paper. It was about the security agreement. It was about P for performance. Gosh, I can't speak today. That's what it's all about. And if we understand that aspect of it, guys, you know what? I know y'all know how to perform. Natasha knows how to perform. I know Sean knows how to perform. He did it this year. He monetized his home note. He paid off his house this year and monetized. So I'm going to tell everybody. He monetized his home note and mailed it in. And I'm not going to tell you how much, but he got a 6-digit prepayment that went into the IRS for the year. I could use a 6-digit prepayment for the IRS this year. Couldn't you, Natasha? Right? 6-digit? I'll even take it on the low end, like the 11111. I even take that. That's done. Wouldn't you want to have $100,000 tax credit? Forget that stupid EV. He's getting one. Why? Because he knows how to pay attention. He knows how to watch all four corners of this thing. And well, what does that have to do with the lawsuit? It has everything to do with the lawsuit. Because if you're watching all the players, you know exactly where they're deficient. You know exactly where these guys are blowing smoke. And here was the real reality in this car case. The bank had absolutely no tangible proof that it was entitled to receive a payment. Sean, they didn't even have a title to the car. We have a digital title. No such thing. That's a made-up word. There's a lot of smoky mirrors out there, you guys. Okay, we're going to keep going. I know we're running out of time here, but it's okay. We're going to keep going. If we run a little late, we're just going to run a little late tonight. It's cool. Anyway, so here's something to remember is that the plaintiff, one of the things that I'm mentioning in the packet here, and I'm just skimming through the packet, is that the defendant demands proof of the plaintiff's ownership of the debt. That's one of the things that we asked for in this other case. We asked for proof that they actually owe the debt. Do you have any proof outside of the fact that you just have a lien on their car? And you know what? Because I understand the parameters of these car deals really, really well. I spent 23 years in the car business, 8 years as finance director. So I understand what they're doing, and I understand what's happening here. And because I can see everything, I can sit back and look at the attorney's work after they've done their work and just kind of laugh at it all and just kind of giggle at it and go, oh, wow, they're going to get in trouble. I've had the pleasure of being able to do this for over 9 years now, and I absolutely love it. So when you demand proof of the alleged ownership of the debt, then that stops everything, because that's something that's required at the point of filing. This means that if they don't have proof of this, the court doesn't even have jurisdiction to do anything. It's true. And one of the statements that said in here, and this is from the attorney, by the way, it says the plaintiff is required by law to trace his statement of claim to the to the cause of the action from the assigner, so that the defendant can challenge the plaintiff's claim that he is the present owner of the cause of action. Because if they're just showing you paperwork from the dealership, that shows the dealership as the creditor. That doesn't show that they've been assigned the note. Now, there is a part down there at the bottom where it's supposed to be signed off, but I'm going to tell you, a lot of times banks just cut that off. Another question I get asked in class too is, do they sell the note? No, not when it comes to automobiles. I mean, they don't trade the note, is what I'm saying. Yes, do you have sometimes people that will come in and buy your loan and tell you, hey, you need to pay your payments here? I'm going to show you how to take care of that. I'm going to show you how to deal with that. And if it's a car note, bye-bye. Probably won't see any payments anymore. Now, how many of these teachers out there have actually foreclosed on their lenders before and not gone to jail? How many? Me. That's the only person I know that's done this. And I've done it more than once and been successful both times. One time we actually went to court. The other time we didn't. And I'm going to show you why when we get in there. Okay. So another thing is insufficiency and specificity in pleadings. Okay. This is very important. When a lawyer seeks it says right here, when the lawyer for a collection company seeks damages based on a contractual relationship, an agreement or contract, and these damages are ascertainable or ascertainable based on the contract or agreement, then the lawyer is required to plead those damages with specificity. That means he's got to go back to the contract and say, hey, right here in the contract, it says I'm entitled to receive attorney fees, which that's in some of your security agreements, but in a lot of them, it's not. And a lot of times these guys will ask stuff. I can't tell you how many collection cases and judgments I've looked at where we were able to, we sent it off and they drafted up the group drafted up a motion to vacate the judgment. And the reason that they did it is because this right here, insufficient specificity in pleading. Because there was nothing in the original agreement that said that they were entitled to attorney fees, that queered the whole thing. Excuse my language, but it did. And here's why. The FDCPA requires that in the commission of collecting of debt, you can't do anything deceitful. You cannot use any kind of deceptive trade practice. If they ask you what your name is, you better tell them what your name is if that's where you work, if you work in one of those places. So if you're a third-party debt collector. Now, here's another thing. What is a third-party debt collector? This is something else I talk about in the class. A third-party debt collector is anybody that is in charge of collecting debts on a regular basis in a name other than their own. So if they're Johnson & Johnson and Associates ESQ, or We Rip You Off Attorneys ESQ, whoever, and they're collecting debts like that, then that makes them not an attorney, ladies and gentlemen. That makes them a debt collector first. And here's the thing. If they send you something, we're going to talk about this. It's in my class. If they send you something that has anything to do with court on it, anything, and they're operating in a dual capacity like that, that's a deceptive trade practice. And that right there is enough that kills your debt. Not only does it kill your debt, but under public law, you can actually get paid. You can actually demand money from these people. And in this class, I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to show you how to get paid, because we all need to get paid, right? I mean, it sucks when you send out all these stupid bills to everybody and they don't get paid. How many people do that? How many of y'all see these people driving around silly, driving around with all this crap in their glove box? Look, I got a fee schedule for that. It's right here. It's official. It's not official. It's in your glove box. It means nothing. Doesn't mean anything unless somebody's accepted it. This is what people are missing, the equity part of all this. All right. So here's another error that you can cite too, is that the defendant cites failure of consideration. Okay. Whereas no money or exchange of goods occurred between the plaintiff and the defendant, therefore the defendant cites failure of consideration. That means, hey, third-party debt collector, I've never given you any money. Johnson & Johnson ESQ or whoever else is trying to collect portfolio recovery, I've never given you guys any money before. So there's no consideration here. I haven't given you anything and you're just being a bully. But here's the thing. If you and I did any of this kind of stuff, if we decided that we were just going to go start sending bills out to people randomly, and I've heard of people doing this and they go to prison for it, so don't do this. You know, where they send like a whole bunch of companies a bill for $1. There was a guy that did this in the 90s. No kidding. He billed all these companies and he billed them for years for $1. Nobody noticed. Everybody just paid him the $1. Don't get any ideas, everybody, because this guy went to prison for this stuff. Anyway, when he racked up a big enough amount, then somebody blew the whistle on him and he's sitting his little butt in prison right now. So don't do that. But I'm just saying, if we were to go and do this, we could be hit for mail fraud, false impersonation, identity theft. I mean, where'd you get the name from? All this stuff. Huh? What gets him out of that, Natasha? What gets him out of that? Sean, what do you guys think? What gets him out of that? How these guys get away with making all these presentments? They don't get to go to prison. But then I just told you about that story about that guy that did it. And he only sent him a bill for $1. I mean, Jesus, only $1, right? What do you think?
I don't know. In taking the class, the only thing that comes to mind is like a QSIP number or something that's generated.
Get close.
Close.
Yeah, if we were playing Marco Polo, you'd be drowning me right now. That's pretty close. That's really close. You're about poop. Now you go under. I couldn't even say polo now. Okay. Sean, what do you think?
I just, because no one else complains, you know, he only got in trouble because someone blew the whistle, but everyone else stayed quiet and paid the $1. So
therefore they cured all the errors, and that was actually his defense. But how do these portfolio recovery people get away with this stuff and they don't go to jail?
Because we accept it in the long run. They make presentment and we accept it.
I'm going to tell you guys why. And this is something I've never talked about in class.
Oh.
I know, man. This is freebie. Anyway, so here's why. No, I'm going to lie. I lied. That's not true. I have talked about this in class. I just haven't put the boat and the trailer together and we didn't go out skiing together. That's all. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to put the boat and the trailer together. We're going to show it right now. So here we go. The reason why is because these companies purchase your CAFR numbers. And what happens is they don't get all of your information, but they get the last 4 of your social, and they get your address, and they get a phone number. And if they can ring you on the phone and they get you to verify your address, verify your name and all that stuff, they've got consent. Because they don't say, because what do they say? Hey, I'm so-and-so from Portfolio Recovery, and I'm here to collect the debt. This is all calls and whatever else, all information collected on this call, and everything's going to be recorded, and your life sucks now, and here I am on the phone with you. That's basically kind of how that works. And then next thing you know, they're asking you this information, and then you tell them to go pack sand, you're not paying them, and blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what they did? They got you to verify who you are. They got you to verify the debt because you told them you're not paying it. And you didn't respond with any paper. So all that operator needs to do is generate an affidavit that says, I talked to Natasha Jordan. She said her date of birth was this, and their phone number is this, and I called her about this debt, and she said blankety, blankety, blank, 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 blank. That's why they're happy to hear you cuss them out. You ever notice that? When you call those debt collectors, they'll stay on for days listening to you cuss them out. You could keep them on there. They don't care because they're getting paid. They don't care. And you shouldn't cuss anybody out. That's not what we talk. That's not what I support here. But, you know, they just kind of get you kind of mad. And sometimes they catch you on an off day and you're like, who are these people invading my privacy right now? So it makes people a little bit retaliatory sometimes. Not always our best side. But you'll notice that they always will listen to you. And the reason that they're listening to you is because they're putting all that information from the recording in their report on an affidavit that says Natasha verified the claim. This is all it takes. This is how equity works. So knowing that equity works like that, what does that tell you? That should tell each and every one of you, we better learn how to contract. You better learn how to make some presentments. Because if you just stand there like you're at the drive-through movies, you're going to be a victim. I mean, you're going to be a witness to your own crime. And the crime is going to be you not doing anything. And this happens all over America. It really does. This class is really important for that. Repudiation. Here's another point to talk of. The plaintiff is not named in any alleged agreement that is supported or that is purported to have been entered in between the defendant and the plaintiff. So there's no repudiation. There's no meeting of the minds. There's no nothing that's ever happened. Oh, yes, there was. We called you on the phone. No. When you called me on the phone, I asked you to identify yourself, and you didn't identify yourself because I recorded that phone call too. We're going to talk about a call that I did that actually this happened. One of my students where it actually happened, and this bank called them up and talked all kind of crazy to them. But they broke so many rules and they broke so many public laws. When we made our presentment on their end, these people ended up with a free and clear truck. That's right. Because again, you can't have deception in this stuff. You can't. There's a lot more information I'm skipping here, but we're getting past our 7 o'clock time. So hang in there, everybody. Number 7, it says, you know, the defendant claims lack of privity, as the defendant has never entered into any contractual or debtor/creditor arrangements with the plaintiff, whereas no relationship exists between the plaintiff and the defendant, whereas the defendant has never signed a contract or agreement with the plaintiff cites lack of privity. These are things that we're not talking about in our court because we're too busy. Hold on. Sorry about that. Because we're too busy doing other things. Just a second. All right. Sorry about that. I think we just went down. Oh, no. Oh, man. Hold on, everybody. Sorry about that. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. My phone rang for just a minute. I apologize, everybody. I have a old lady in the building that needs my help tonight, and I've got to run over there tonight. But I did want to finish this call tonight before we go any further. We're going to finish. We're going to finish going through this book tonight. So hang in there with us, everybody. We're going a little longer than usual, but it's all good, right? You guys don't mind, right? Okay, cool. I didn't even look. I'm sorry. And then something else that we talked about earlier, the FDCPA states very clearly, like I told you guys, it states that the debt collector cannot collect an amount of money that is not permitted by law or by agreement. I'm going to tell you what, I had an attorney, paid him $7,500, and this dingaloo kept billing me for like 3 months after that, after I paid him. We didn't have a contract for that. Now that I found a contract, I'm going to bill him. Yeah. All of his presentments, I'm going to send him bills for every one of them under public law because you don't have a contract to support this. Huh? Got to be contracting, everybody. Got to be contracting. And by the way, when you do this, in most cases, just about every FDCPA violation, just about, some of them are more, some of them are less. But if you look them up, there's a whole pile of them. Most of them are between $500 and $2,000. So most of them are around $1,000. So if you hit them around, if you'd be thinking about $1,000 and they accept it, Then it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong now, does it? It doesn't matter if it's more than what FDCPA says it is or not. It doesn't matter. If the other parties accept it and they don't answer it, they cure those errors. Boom. Boom. Are we seeing it now? We seeing it? It's cool, huh? So statute of frauds is another reason. That's a big one. Okay. The plaintiff claims to have a contract with you. You know, this case that I just saw in this car case, the plaintiff claims to have a contract with her. Great. Where is it? Let's see it. Those of you guys that take my class, I'm going to tell you, they don't have it. They absolutely don't have it. And if you don't have the title either, what proof do you have that? What proof do they have that they're entitled to receive any loan payments? I'm going to say none. I'm going to say none. Because it says right here, without a contract, they can't ask for payments, huh? See how this works both ways? I hope you guys are getting something out of this tonight, okay? This is just a very small portion of this class. And in closing, some of the other things that we're going to talk about in my class. We're going to talk about why these guys speak in Latin all the time. You ever notice that? They always put Latin in there. You know why they do that? Look, there's Latin in the class. Look, it was right here. I'm not even going to try to say that. But this is one of the terms that we use in the class, and I'm going to tell you I use it all the time. And why do they do this? Why do they speak in Latin, Natasha? Why?
It's a dead language.
And what kind of people speak dead languages?
Demonic witchcraft.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, exactly. Just having fun. But no, that's right. But the other reason that they speak this dead language is because there's no other interpretation other than what it is. So whatever it is said, it is what it is. Nunc pro tunc means now and forevermore. That means it is what it is. It's not negotiable. That's it. Guys, we're going to be talking a lot about more of this. Now, a lot of people want to know, they're probably going, well, how do we get in this class? And how much is it? Okay, it's a 2-day, 6-hour class. The class starts at $175. Okay, so you can start there at $175. You can get into the class, but that's really bare minimum. Okay, and for people that want to just play it safe, you know what? That's cool too. If that's how you want to do the class, that's fine. Then if you want documents, templates, recordings, all that other stuff, then that changes a little bit. Okay. But here's what I would like you to do first and foremost. Those of you guys that are interested in taking a class, set up an interview with me. Okay. I want to meet you. I want to talk to you firsthand. I want to see why you're taking the class, not because I want to get in your head, but because I want to make this class for you. Okay. We're going to be talking about how to monetize agreements, how to get your stuff ready for taxes. And then you know what? We actually have, Natasha, we have a tax class coming up on the 10th. Tax equity and discharge is coming up on the 10th too. So 3 days, man. If you guys want to get in and knock this stuff out, it's really, really a powerful class. You're gonna learn a lot. And everything that I tell you has been all fact tested, mother approved. It's all good. And I've talked to Natasha's CPA. I've talked to a couple of her CPAs. I've talked to Sean's CPA. I've talked to all of these people. And what we've found in most cases is that most of them just didn't really understand their job very well. They understand what I was saying, but they just didn't understand how to get from this bridge to the other bridge. And that kind of that's their training. I can't overcome that. But we are getting our taxes filed. Everybody is learning this process, and we're very successful at it. And nobody's getting in trouble. So if you guys are wanting to learn about how to do this, how to foreclose on your lenders, how this whole thing really works, this is the class for you. Go to my website, houseofyah.communityoutreach.com/workshops and schedule an appointment with me. I'd love to meet with you and just get an idea and get a kind of a heartbeat where you're at. And then what's cool after this is that if you guys need help with anything, okay, let's just say, Sean took my class and it was like, I don't know, a year later or something, he gets hit with a lawsuit. Well, shoot, it was a year ago when he took my class. So, I mean, he needed some freshen up time. We needed to sit down and kind of have a meeting in the minds and reacquaint ourselves to the class and things like that. You know what? I'm happy to do that for you. We don't charge for it. We're open to the public. And in that regard, we are open to the public. We're here to help. We're here to pray with you. We're here to help and make sure that you're successful. I want to thank all of you guys for joining us tonight. Natasha, been great. Sean, thanks for coming tonight, dude. I love you, man. It's always good to see you. And you know what? Send me a copy of that, because I think I'm gonna come up there with you. We're gonna go sit in that. We're gonna go sit in that thing together, and we'll get that order and walk out of there with smiles and lunch. It'll be good. All right, man. Well, listen, we love you guys. You guys have a wonderful evening. Blessings, everybody, and good night.
Good night, everybody.